How's it going, everybody? Rico here, bringing you the first of my RP series. I'm going to make a series of role-playing builds, but the focus of it is to go beyond just the aesthetics and make viable, playable builds. Now, I'm starting off with Naryu because I think it's the easiest one. The game already gives you a playable race with her costume and her personality and the class. So it's just the easiest one so far, and I think it's a good start. Now, my goal with this series is to bring other characters to life from either the Elder Scrolls or other franchises. Like I said, let's jump into it with the first character of the series. We have Naryu. What inspired Naryu, for those of you who don't know who she is an assassin, top-notch assassin from the Moroctong. The Moroctong is a faction in Morrowind that deals with assassination legally, as opposed to the Dark Brotherhood, which is more of a religion or cult. They have this whole ritual before they kill someone, and that's how people request the assassinations. Anyway, they're more legal about it. They're more business-like about it. With that being said, I'm not going to spoil it. If you're clicked on this video, you probably know who Naryu is. If you don't, I don't want to spoil it for you. And maybe you don't care who Naryu is and you just here because you want a simple, easy stamina Nightblade build. And that's okay too. Jumping into the gear, we're going to start with the first set that inspired this build. And the series, to kick it off, was Naryu's bow. Now you get this from doing a quest, so it's very easy to obtain, and it's part of the Night Mother's Embrace set. At first glance, it's not so bad. You have 2-piece max stam, 3-piece weapon damage, 4-piece stamina recovery, 5-piece weapon damage, and a little bonus of reducing the radius. You can be detected by 2 meters and reducing the cost of sneak by 25%. The set is a bit dated, but it's still not overall a bad set. Now, I said it's outdated because now we have things like New Moon Acolyte, which gives us a bit more than this. So, yeah, this is still good for raw power, and it's just good for overall stamina build. When it comes to the ganking, well, that little bonus is just there. It is a bonus. It doesn't hurt. Next set that we're going to have is the Moroctong, and this makes sense because she is part of the Moroctong. Now, starting off again, we get weapon damage, max stamina, and more weapon damage. A lot of weapon damage from her sets. Now, if you notice, I'm running 4-piece, and that's because the 5-piece, while you can backbar the bow and use it that way, that's because the bow is the only source of poison damage that we have. Nightblades deal generally disease damage, so we're not really going to make the most out of that unless we use it on a bow bar, or if we have a team of, I don't know, stam DKs or something. Anyway, during the time I made this build, it was at the annual Skullbreaker when they announced that we're going to buff the 3-piece sets, so yay me, I was able to use it. And this is the build. We have 5-piece Night Mothers, 4-piece Moroctong, 3-piece agility. Now the agility comes in either healthy, robust, and arcane. You want to get either robust or healthy. This is infused. Noted that is the only infused item that I have, and that's because I already had this from a set before, and I just recycled it into this build. If you notice, my weapons are purple and they're not transmuted, and that is because I just wanted to plug and play. You know, I picked up some stuff from just farming them, or I just bought them off guild traders as is, trying to get some of the best sets that I could without giving it too much mind. And this is because I wanted to see how the set would perform just as is. And if it felt good, then like at base form, if I could do something with this at purple, then I said, yeah, you know what, it feels good, let's go Super Saiyan and gold out the weapons. But for now, this is what it is. No monster set is really good for new players who want to get into Stamina Nightblade. because how accessible it is, how easy it is, and you get to roleplay as Naryu. Come on, how nice is that? Go into the character sheet. We have 64 points into stamina. We have the Warrior Mundus to stack even more weapon damage. We are a vampire here, and there's a reason for that. This is more for PvP than it is for PvE, but it has its benefits. And we use Bewitched Sugar Skulls because I think it's the best for this, especially a bit more for PvP again, because we do want more magicka for cloak. But if you don't need cloak, or if you're not going to use that many magicka abilities, you can just use something like Arterium Takeaway Broth, or any other stamina, Dubious Camoran Throne, or the new Bone Broth as well. On a bow bar, we have almost 3,400 weapon damage, 42% critical, 1,000 magicka recovery. We have 500 health recovery being a vampire, stage 4. If you're going to be doing PvE, I suggest just trying to keep it at stage 3. So we take less fire damage and we get a little bit more health recovery. We have 18k here. That's because I have a siphoning ability, so we get 8% more magicka. But other than that, we have like 17k on our dual wield bar. We have 17.5k max health and 35.6k magicka and stamina, which is not bad for this spec, I have to say. For your jewelry, you want to have all infused. You want to have all weapon damage glyphs, and you want to have all stamina glyphs. Now, I happen to have a healthy ring because agility does come in all 3 traits. So I didn't use any health enchantments. If you feel like you're tanky enough and you don't need vampirism and you don't need nothing else, then by all means go all robust, go all max stamina. But it's okay to use some health here because we are a little bit squishy. Now, a dual wield bar, we have almost 3,700 weapon damage. Mind you, we have no Nirnhoned gold weapons, and we're not buffed. Just for comparison, just to show, if we are buffed, we're reaching here 43, over 4,000 weapon damage. If we had gold Nirnhoned, we can get possibly upwards of close to 5,000 weapon damage. I'm sure of it. And we have 53% critical. This is not bad at all. Not bad at all. Going to her skills for the RP, I was studying her a little bit, and for the trailer for Morrowind, she used Hidden Blade. In this quest that you do, I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't done it, but her and her apprentice combined, they used Surprise Attack, they use Shadowy Disguise, they use Deathstroke and Soul Tether, and Whirling Blades. And they also used, Ambush. So those are moves that they actually did use confirmed. So that might be their favorite moves to use, personally, I think. But you get to play however you want, and you have a lot of flex spots. If you're going to play in PvE, there's some good skills there. You don't have to run this. It was just some stuff that I was testing out. If you don't want to run Essence of Weapon Power, you can always have Shattered Daggers, as that gives us Major Brutality, Resolving Vigor, because it's just one of the best healing moves that we have. Surprise Attack gives us a little buff when we do this to our defense. We get Major Resolve. You can use either Executioner and swap one of them out for Camel Hunter. And same here, I think Leeching Strikes is really good because it gives us sustain, and it keeps our health up. I had this for cleave damage, so you can change that to maybe Poison Eject. Relentless Focus is just a staple for Nightblades. Another move that you might use, that it's one of my favorites for PvE, is Bloodthirst. Mainly because it does almost the same damage as Surprise Attack, and it heals while you attack. So we get a little bit tankier through healing. So you can use a Surprise Attack, and then just keep going with Bloodthirst. I say that so he can get the major ward. So that's it for the skills. I'm trying to go a bit faster. I'm not trying to make this video longer than it has to be. Before I did this, I mean, I had time to develop the character a little bit more. But before I did this, I went into Fungal Grotto 1 and I on Veteran, and I try to solo it. And I think if you can solo, it is the easiest Veteran dungeon out of all of them. But nonetheless, I still soloed a Veteran dungeon, the easiest, of them. But if you can solo Fungal Grotto 1 on Veteran with a build that you come up with, then it's viable. It's not an elite build. It's not end game, no death, speed run, going for the best score type of build. But you can pretty much do a lot of the content as is meant to be. Like, you can do normal dungeons with a healer and a tank and another DPS with no problem. And you can even do some veteran dungeons as well. Some DLC dungeons might give you a bit of an issue, but for the gear, for how accessible it is, and for the way that it's built, I think that is fine. This will definitely get you into what a Nightblade could be. If you're new to Nightblades, if you're starting the game, this is a good set to start off. And I said I had a lot of fun. And with that being said, I'll just jump into the clip of me fighting Krogs. I skipped the rest of it again to make the video shorter and not have to make it as long. Because if you can go through it and fight Krogs, like you fight you fought through some mobs and you get to the last boss. I think that pretty much makes it. If you guys want a full video of me doing Veteran Fungal Grotto 1, you can always let me know in the comments below. If you want to test something else, if you have some questions, then by all means let me know in the comment section. If you like this video and this build and you want to see more, give it a thumbs up, as it really helps me out. And again, if you really like my content and you really want to support me, you can always subscribe and hit the notification bell. That's it for now. I'll leave you with the clip fighting Krogs in Fungal Grotto 1. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next video. How's it going, everyone? I figured I'll just throw in a little commentary into this fight so you guys know what went through my mind and what was going on. As you see, I did just revive because he did kill me at least twice before I figured out a way to kill him. One thing I noticed about this build is that, yeah, you can burn through your stamina a little bit too quickly. So I had to slow down because, as you see, that's one move that I have to really block, and you have to move around a lot. And you could burn through your stamina if you're not careful. He has two moves that can one-shot you: that heavy attack, that thunder-ish heavy attack right there, and his summon lightning. So that summon lightning is slow enough that you can move out of the way, but his heavy attack, if you don't block it, it's just safer to block than to try to roll dodge, because you can still get hit even if you roll dodge for some reason. You can dodge it, but you can still get hit by it if your timing is off. So it's better safe than sorry, just block it. As you can see there, I didn't really use my ultis because he summons mud crabs, and I wasn't sure how many times he did it and at what percentage. I just assumed he did it like every 10% or so. So I held on to it, and I didn't really notice. So I held on to the ulti for whenever he had the mud crabs, because one thing that I noticed about this build is that you are at a very big disadvantage if you're fighting multiple opponents. So it's best to get rid of them quickly. With that said, I really enjoyed this build. I think it was fun, it was different, and I like how accessible and easy it is. Also, I like this clip a lot for a couple of reasons. One of them is that I am not the best, PvP or PvE player in the game, and I didn't do a crazy ton of DPS and damage. I took it slow and steady, and I went about it, with the mentality that, okay, let me go slow and steady, let me take my time, and let me have certain strategies. Let me see what he does and how I can overcome it. So my way with that is, well, I have these two moves, they're killing me, block one of them, roll dodge the other, and so on. Use my ultis for the mud crabs, and with some strategy and some tactics, I got through with it without having to have crazy DPS and just ignores mechanics. And I like this because it can show newer players, it can show unexperienced players that you don't need to have everything gold, the best gear in order to beat a content. Now, yes, this is the easiest of all veteran dungeons, but it's a veteran dungeon nonetheless. And you know, yeah, you have to do. I did everything by myself here. Again, it is the easiest dungeon, but if you could do this dungeon on, by yourself, then there's a lot of things you could do as well. Like, you can definitely do normal dungeons without a problem with a full group, with a dedicated healer, tank, and so on. And that will let you focus more on DPS as well. The other thing is that a lot of the PvE, the questing, the overland questing should be no problem as well. And some of the world bosses, Krog's here is just as strong as the average world boss, I think. I'm not sure. Maybe stronger than some, but definitely weaker than like Slowed, for example. But yeah, that's it for it. It's a pretty straightforward fight. It's just consistent, just trying not to mess up, and his moves. When to block and when to roll dodge. And I hope you guys like it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, as it really helps me out. If you guys have any comments, just let me know in the section below. If you like it, tell me why. If you don't, tell me why. If there's something that you want to see, if you have any questions, or maybe you just want to say what's up, that's also cool. And that's all for today. I will see you in the next video. Have a good one.